Hi everyone, this is Amy from Irigenics, and today I want to make just a short video to give you an opportunity to take a look at ancestral connections and also to look at an opportunity we're being presented with right now during this kind of frenetic virus time that really never happens in America. And so this is kind of a one-time opportunity to do some real ancestral trauma cleanup. And so let me take you on a quick walk through the world of ancestors. So for many of you, you know that the way I normally work with ancestors is by doing ancestral eye reading. I take a photograph of the eyes and I'm looking at a map of their traumas, gifts, abilities, as well as sometimes ancestral images will appear in the eyes. And so working on that map is a big part of my work. But what I know is that you don't really need a photo of your eyes. You can look to any experience in your life, which is unusual, traumatic, dramatic, wild, unique, and you're going to find your ancestors in there. So I want to today give you this opportunity to pick up this 5-minute challenge to identify at least one aspect of this experience going on right now in America or wherever you live in the world, and identify where your ancestors may have intersected with this pattern. So let me give you a quick example. And I'm going to use a COVID-19 example just to give you a nice clean example. It's 1917. You have an ancestor who's 6 years old. They're in Wisconsin and they get locked into an ice house. Whatever happens, they get in there, the door clicks, they're stuck inside and they can't get out. And they're banging on the door, and nobody hears them. And they are really traumatized. It's wintertime. It's like 20 below. They end up maybe getting frostbite on their fingers. Maybe, really their fingertips get all scratched and scraped from trying to get out, and they just can't get out. And finally, somebody finds them late in the night or in the morning. But it's really the trauma of their lifetime, right? Now, here we are. It's 2020. You're at your best friend's wedding in some high-rise hotel, and it's noisy inside. And so you walk into the stairwell to practice your speech. And so you get into the stairwell, and the door closes, and you hear it go click. And in that moment, you're transported back to 1917 when that ancestor of yours, whether you knew them or not, whether you knew their story or not, they hear the door go click. And as you go, oh, it's as if there's almost like a time machine, like a holographic time tube that takes you right back to that 1917 click. Now, you're in there and you're like, oh my gosh, you're banging on that door, but nobody's hearing you. And the reason is because it was noisy inside when you went in there. You went in the stairwell because it was too loud. And so you're now in there and you can either re-engage that pattern and really load that up as being still a threat to us. Being locked in is still an issue by banging on that door. Let me out, let me out. I've got to give the bride speech. She's going to think I bailed on her. Or you can say, wait a minute. It's 2020. I got one of these. FaceTime the front desk, FaceTime somebody inside the wedding, call somebody to get you out of the stairwell, and you go in and give the speech as you normally would. Because we don't live in 1917. We don't live in our ancestors' time. And we can either re-engage that pattern by making it a big drama and trauma in our life, or we can disengage it by saying, wait a minute, there's a new way. I can pick up my cell phone, which my ancestors did not have. Now, being someone who's adopted and met my birth parents as an adult, I met my birth mother when I was 19 and my birth father when I was 53 or 54. And so being that person, I have some really great backdrop to the comparison between environmental and genetic. And I can tell you, even before I knew any of these experiences of my ancestors, I went through these experiences. So today, I want you to take a look at this crazy situation we're all in, something that really almost never happens in America. When's the last time in America we went to the stores and they were empty? The shelves were empty. When's the last time in America that we couldn't go to the hospital for fear of picking up a disease? When's the last time we couldn't attend a loved one's funeral? Every one of us is having some very specific, very personal interaction with this COVID-19 situation. For me, I'm not able to try on wedding dresses. All the wedding shops are closed. It's 2020. I can buy a dress online still. I can borrow a dress. I can do whatever. I can get married in something else. It's not a time when if you don't wear that proper wedding dress, the whole world's going to go, what? So take a look at your very, very specific situation, whether you were adopted or not, whether you know your ancestors or not, and reach back, think back, take a 5-minute visualization, a 5-minute prayer time, whatever it is that works for you. Do some dream work, do some automatic writing, and imagine when they were in a situation that was very similar to yours. Whether that's a teacher who now is trying to figure out how to reach their students, whether that's a woman about to have a baby who's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't really go in the hospital for this. Someone who just had a baby who's terrified for their children, someone who can't go to work right now, someone who can't find the food they need for their home or the medicine they need for their home. Imagine some situation that you are personally and especially distinctly experiencing right now, and just take a moment to go back and realize you are at that moment of, you are at that holographic time tube back to that ancestor who was in this situation. And you have this opportunity to say, oh my gosh, yes, this is still a threat to me. Or wait a minute, I'm in 2020. I can wait this out. I'm in a new world. I'm in a new century. I have this great opportunity this one time. I've already had this visceral experience. I've already had this visceral experience. Oh my gosh, there's no toilet paper on the shelves. Oh my gosh, I can't go into the bank. I can't open a new bank account. Oh my gosh, I can't pay this bill. Oh my gosh, I can't visit my sick relative. Oh my gosh, I can't attend this funeral. Go to that moment, that you have with your ancestor, and walk it back. Bless them, love them, appreciate the situation they were in, because for the first time, you viscerally understand it, and infuse it with a new energy of 2020. What can we do about it today that couldn't happen back then? We have internet, we have cell phone, we have a new world, we have cars, we have a lot of new things. So try to find one aspect that you can walk through with your ancestors. And if you feel inspired to share this video with others, please do so. This is really an opportunity for people to just really honor the situations their ancestors have been through, and to recognize them as something that's loaded into their cells, loaded into their visceral experience of life. And this is a great opportunity to heal. After all, we might be stuck at home anyway. We might be stuck in a line waiting for our social distancing to pass. Whatever our situation is, just take 5 minutes today and make that connection point with your ancestors, and wait and see how the world shifts for you, because it's really an amazing experience. Wishing you all to be safe and well, and every blessing on your journey. And for those of you who are really going through some heart-wrenching experiences at this time, and some real trauma and fears at this time, sending you loads of love. Remember, if there is one thing that every person on this planet has in common, it's that we have ancestors. And if you go back far enough, we have common ancestors. Wishing you well. Namaste.